determined today is that two rope system definitely has solved the Tarzan side-to-side problem. It looks like it will even work even if the ropes are really far apart, as much as 12 or 16 feet. We'll have to try some other time. And it also looks like the climbing rope, 9mm and the 9.5mm, as well as the 10.5mm, does not feed through, self-feed through the Revo quite as nice as the other ropes. The one rope that I have attached to the middle of the back came with a very heavy-duty 100-pound 40-foot ladder. It seems to feed through really, really nicely. Something about this climbing rope and the way in which it's braided or something does not look like it's going to want to feed through very well. Other than that, everything seems to be working okay. I will try to actually weight my rope to see if that helps self-feed it through while I'm ascending. So I was able to find tube socks, not enough. I found 2 tube socks and a t-shirt sleeve in the bag of rags. So I was able to weight down those things. The other thing I did try is I tried to rappel down the one rope, and definitely rappelling works a lot better when that rope is weighted. So if you ever had to rappel yourself down there, you would want a weighted thing, otherwise you go down a little bit too quick. So I'm trying a half of a tube sock full of rocks, half full of rocks. And are we locked up? No, we're not locked up, but she's still not. She's not climbing. Let's see. Okay, I guess it does climb a little bit better. Self-feed. Self-feeding is important when you got like stuff in your hands. And whole idea is, let's see, I'm now descending, so it's still self-feeding on the descent. So we'll try that. I'm going to get the 3 socks, or rocks, in the socks, and see if she climbs and goes down better. Well, the screws can hold 700 pounds plus or minus 50 pounds shear force, which means 8 of them would be 5,600 pounds. We can always assume that there's going to be rotted wood and anything else that could cause a screw not to really grip correctly. So when I was screwing up 2 of the 6 anchors, I think at least 2 screws I know didn't catch anything. That would still give me 4,800 pounds, and you got plenty of bounce. One way you can get around that too, rather than putting extra anchors in or extra screws in, you can just simply rely on 2 different ropes to hold yourself in 2 Revos, and that would also allow you to have up to 3 anchor points per person, as well as different areas where you're anchored into, which would be much safer. Okay, here we have a test of a 2 gree system, and I'm going to drop this bag of rags with 1 point over here, and 1 point over there, hopefully. Nothing pulls me off this plank here. So, here you go. And theoretically, it should stop somewhere midpoint without Tarzan. So this is a Tarzan test. And with 2 degrees, interesting. Looks like the result is that the addition of the friction meant that it went down slowly instead of quickly. So that means you might be careful of that. I think a human being would have been a lot heavier than a little 15-pound bag of rags. So it's inconclusive. So as you can see, it's like halfway between the points as predicted. by the laws of physics. And she basically stopped at the tie-off points on my rope. So in conclusion, you're looking at a double system that is inconclusive whether it would actually just slow you down and keep the revos from actually catching. Sometimes I call them gree-grees because I like the word gree-gree much better. I'm also not sure as to whether it's even necessary to have two of them, because if you look at the system up there, you're almost never going to be Tarzanning. You can just take one revo and attach it to where one of the three ropes, because the ropes are actually not too far apart. According to OSHA, if you're like 6 feet apart on your vertical ropes, you're not going to Tarzan too much, so you have to, I think maybe every 6 feet would be probably safe. We do have the horizontal rope at the top with the, I don't know, the rope that goes horizontally on it, that goes down. That will actually keep the Tarzan effect down to pretty much minimum. So maybe up there I might only use one revo and tie off lower. That's it for now. Okay, I'm going to try this again, except with that one and that one. And I'm going to try not to get pulled off this thing. So I'm going to throw the bag up here, see if we can get some kind of conclusion. So she does. There, that Tarzan kind of locked. We'll see what locked and what didn't. Looks like they both locked. So that's good. So they both locked. Very little possible Tarzan. I'm going to try it one more time. Okay. So this is one more time. A little bit off. Moved to my left a little bit, so we'll see. Make sure I'm not going to get pulled off. Alright, get set up. And it locks in the middle. So 2 revos. These revos are about, I don't know, 12 feet apart at least. Seems to work. It solves a lot of the Tarzan issue. Obviously, you're going to still get knocked into the house. So I'm going to do one more test. Still getting a little bit more under everything. And make sure I'm not going to get pulled off. Okay. And there we go. Yeah. Looks like that one to my left didn't even have to even engage in order to keep it from Tarzaning. However, probably a heavier person would slowly. So even though it didn't engage, it would definitely slow the Tarzan effect and the swing down to center. Interesting. So doing this, I noticed that it was very difficult to keep changing Tarzan chords as you went along. It was much easier when I'm on the plank to use the horizontal ropes and just choose one vertical rope. I think that would be enough, and I wouldn't have to worry too much about the Tarzan effect as long as I'm connected to the vertical rope somewhere. And then the other thing I noticed is that if you had a false lockup, the bags did a really good job. But I didn't have a false lockup, but sometimes it felt like it was going to lock up, and a guy could freak, I guess, if he were not as patient as me. I happen to have way more patience than the average person. The thing I'm trying to convey is I have a breakthrough here. It's a breakthrough in fall protection. The barriers used to be attachment points, in the Tarzan. I've solved both of those problems for the most part. You also have tying ladders to the next level that theoretically can keep ladders from kicking or windshield wipering. The problem is there's going to be liability, and liability because OSHA hasn't thought about this stuff. And because you're doing something non-standard, there are possibilities that somebody could get minor injuries while you try to protect them from a major one. The person will need to be trained in all the dangers, but they will also have to sign a liability, something like that. So with the liability signed, you're protecting yourself against all kinds of things, anything that can go wrong, even if mathematically impossible. That would be the anchor points failing, the rope failing, person getting hurt banging into anything on a catch, being hurt by the rope, tripping on the rope, anything that you can possibly imagine and throw into your waiver. You will also probably want somebody to wear crash protection, something similar to biking helmet, or most likely an equestrian or a skateboard helmet. There are construction helmets that would help, and elbow and knee pads wouldn't hurt. That's all for now.